Whenever we visit the countryside, an area covered with thick trees and grass, or even Florida, we know what our parents will be warning us about. Don't get too close. There might be some dangerous things lurking in the dark, more specifically, snakes. Snakes have become a major pain in the ass for people living nearer to lakes and forests. They don't fear anything. They do anything they want. Enter our houses looking for fresh prey, most probably your pet. And when they don't, they bite you out of that frustration. No matter how big the size might be, the venom which comes out of one king cobra bite is enough to kill a family. While it may look like these reptiles are untouchable, one mammal refuses to respond to its demands. No, it's not a dangerous dog like a pit bull, Rottweiler, or even any other superior animal you will find on the top of the food chain. It all comes down to a small animal. It is none other than the mongoose. Yes, that is true. The mongoose is small, but they strike fast like a cheetah. While it looks impossible to imagine this animal giving a hard time snakes, many videos on YouTube will clear your doubts. But what makes these tiny creatures so special that they stand out against the rest, and how do they survive these dangerous and lethal snake bites? Let's find out. Welcome to the channel. Today we talk about the mongooses, the animal which scares snakes the most. So without further ado, let's start. While most of us hear the word mongoose because of that internet coding tools, most fail to acknowledge that there is a living animal with that name and classification. The mongoose is a living animal belonging to the Herpestidae family. These small animals are also carnivores that don't mess around. They are known to have one of the strongest bite forces a mammal can have. And there are two families for the type of mongoose you will find, namely Herpestinae and the Mongoteinae family. The Herpestinae has about 25 active living species, which you will most probably find in the jungles of southern Europe, Africa, and Asia. And the Mongoteinae family comprises about 11 species that are native to the forests of Africa. The mongoose has its name derived from several Indian languages, which have called these animals mongoose to describe their species. Before that, it was called a goose, and it is still called a goose today in many parts of the world, and for the most part, this name suits them. While there have been many differences in where we find these mammals, certain characteristics will help you identify them. The mongoose have long faces, long bodies with short legs and rounded ears, like a dachshund dog. They have non-retractile claws, which help them dig holes into the ground, not fully like a machine, but will be enough to help keep their body temperature warm and comfortable during hard times. While it may seem like they only feed or hunt on snakes, they also love to feast on some other smaller reptiles they can lay their hands on. While we have learned about the mongoose, let's get into things that will fascinate us more. 1. They use alarm calls to help and save other companions during danger. Not only being a clever hunter, but the mongoose is also a great Samaritan among them. Whenever they sense any danger, they make sure they are the first to go back to alarm the rest of their tribe immediately. This is a sign of intelligence and spontaneous use of the brain to do something important in important situations. 2. While mongoose is seen chilling in the burrows, it might not be them who have dug those. Let us explain. We told you a minute ago that mongoose digs their burrows. They sometimes like to sleep in burrows that another mongoose dug, or burrow a burrow dug by another animal. 3. Mongooses have been known to be a symbol of independence in many cultures and religions. Mongoose has always been used as a symbol of independence in astrology. The animal totem for the mongoose has been said to have many magical attributes like defense, protection, and destroyer of evil. There have been many instances where mongoose have been said to have divine powers, more specifically in Vedas and Sanskrit scriptures, and has also been said to be something sent by the gods themselves. 4. Not only in the Sanskrit scriptures, but the mongoose has been famous in Africa too. Mongooses have been sacred animals in Egypt for nearly 40 centuries. There have been instances where scientists have found mummified mongooses inside those pyramids. 5. As we have told you that these are some really intelligent animals, they are intelligent enough to pass some traditions on to the next generations. This discovery has been very recent, and this has surprised many people. The mongooses pass on the tradition of foraging. The tradition of passion has only been seen in humans and other higher class primates. It was surprising to see such small mammals do the same thing. 6. They have very diverse diets. Yes, it might be confusing. With these many mongooses, there are differences in the food they eat, similar to their appearances. The mongooses are carnivores by heart, but some species also like to feast on plants. This just goes on to show it is never too late to start eating organic. 7. The mongoose family is one big diverse family. Most reside on the ground and are never too comfortable with getting into wild waters. Some like to get into the waters and are comfortable with those tides. In simple words, some certain mongoose species are semi-aquatic. These species of mongoose get into the water to hunt fish, crabs, or anything they can find to fill their stomach. Marsh mongooses are excellent swimmers who can dive up to 15 seconds when hunting. 8. They love to be loners and accompanied. While we might think animals don't have feelings or preferences, the mongoose has that luxury. It varies from species to species. For example, the meerkats, one of the most famous mongoose species, always travel in mobs. A mob is almost 50 of them. And the opposite, most of the other mongoose species always prefer to be alone. But returning to the mobs of meerkats, they always look out for each other, like the simple tasks of foraging food, taking care of the babies, and alarming each other during a crisis. 9. They have a complicated communication pattern. Mongooses have advanced communication strategies from murmurs to growls, and every sound and behavior has a specific and special meaning. A banded mongoose's calls sound like simple grunts and have different meanings. It's those discrete sounds which make the difference. Even though most of them might sound the same, there are different meanings for every sound from their mouth. Even though we have talked about everything we might have wanted to know to this point, but there is something which we all want to know collectively. How are they getting away after playing with their life fighting against snakes? One of the things which helps the mongoose during these high times is their quick reflexes. As we have already said earlier, the mongoose has a quick reflex mechanism that helps them get bitten by a snake. If you ever look at a YouTube video, you will see how close the mongoose gets to the snake, and every time it looks as if the snake has already bitten it, but it never does. Once the cobra is angry and confused, the mongoose strikes the snake at the speed of light, and unlike a snake, it doesn't miss the target. The mongoose ensures it gets the snake by the head and tortures it until it succumbs to its wounds. Pretty cold, and it does it all without any venom resistance, simply being a ninja. Seeing this, many people might think that a mongoose is all they need to eliminate these snakes, and they are not quite right. While you might get rid of snakes, the mongoose will replace this creature to make your nightmare even worse. Yes, you heard that right. Mongooses sometimes are not very human-friendly and have a knack for doing anything to survive. They are just as intrusive as snakes, and you will be a fool to replace something with something dangerous and similar. Many people tried to eradicate snakes from their farms by releasing the mongoose. While the mongoose did kill the snakes, they also created a bad atmosphere by destroying the crops grown as a bonus. They are more miserable than the rats and snakes you will come across in your life. And this also makes an ecological imbalance in the local ecosystem, which has been why these animals have been banned in many places outside their territory. So never bring them into new habitats. Let them be what they are and limit their expansion.